Hello guys, welcome back to Mentoring Channel. In this new session, we are going to talk about the configuration of our giant file to database connections. So first of all, we need to create our application that giant file, and we have here, and we need to have this configuration on Spring profile, default, and this template or Spring profile active. With this configuration, we can pass as a variable the Spring profile configuration. When I running the Spring project, they taking the Spring profile that configure in our POM file. So also we need to add two or maybe three giant files. For example, we have application depth for our environment or for our configuration or the environment depth or developer. And here we have our Spring configuration, and we have a Spring configuration active on profile depth that say to a Spring Boot application, we are to run our active profile in depth. So we have the name of the application, and also we have the server port. We can change this name to the bank star API. And we have, for example, also the port in this application is running in the database to the database connection to our MySQL database. Also, we need to specify the name of our database and specify this GPA configuration or JPA configuration, like the database, MySQL in this scenario, and the Hibernate DD Auto. This DDL Auto allow you to automatically create the database. In case we can specify a create, and with that command, we can create database in case it's done as it when we're running the project, when we run the Spring Boot project. In this case, we're going to keep our data. And also, sometimes we have a trouble. For example, in a case, this database don't exist. For example, let me show you something. For example, I have the database here. I have the database BandDB, but we need a new database like star, right? And I want to, for example, create this new database. Let's run a project. Um, but after running our project with this configuration, I need to explain you other thing you need to config in this in the POM. So in your POM, you need to config a profile session with this tab or schema. You need to specify the profile depth and the activation activate by default to all when we run our project. This activation is taken by default the profile depth with this ID. And you see here we have the profile depth here. And of course, we can specify other um, configurations like test or prod, whatever. This other configuration we can specify. And also, for example, let me show you. If I run my project, my Spring Boot project, um, we can see in the log, for example, it's running the project and he tried to create our database. And but we have a problem here. The problem is um for some reason Spring Boot don't know if this database is don't exist here in MySQL. They don't find, and with this command, they can create it by herself for some reason. This is a common error we have sometimes. But in that case, the only you need to do is create a database, and with the name you specify in your UR. And with that name, it's creator the database. And if we try, for example, to update it and running the project again, here going to create all the tables and alter and all the different tables from this database and running perfectly. And you see here, for example, we have, if I reload here, we have our bank star with all the tables we need to continue with our development process. So with that information, you can handle the different scenario when you have a error. But sometimes if we have this create drop, this meaning, for example, you are going to create and drop the database. So this is don't allow in production environment for some reason. Be carefully with this command and just using this command, but in some scenario, if you have or your database clearly self-fully, you can put none to don't alter your database with Hibernate. But in my case, I'm going to keep data. It's no problem for me. And of course, we have our configuration for the main server. The main server, we have a Docker image. We main server to send the different activation code for the user when they register in a new account. So this is a common configuration. I'm going to put all these configuration below in the comments. And also we have I schedule to our processing or transfer the schedule we a job we are going to implementing and the different security, the secret key and the expiration time of the secret key for the JWT token. Also, we have the mailing front end activation. This is the URL of the front end that going to redirect it or redirect it to this URL to be activate the account and other configuration like login level to have more in details the different errors we have in our application. And other thing we can have here, for example, is create well, it's not ready now, but in some scenario we can create an application test. And for example, in case we don't need a MySQL database, we want to have a H2 database, like it's a in-memory database, we can set up a configuration in application test and active the application test to be running when we're running the profile test in this database. It's good also, but in next video, I'm going to explain you with more details if we can apply a personalized configuration for application tests. So also we have our compose yarn file. In this compose yarn file, we have the name of the image or application, and you see here the image of application, also the container name or the application or the image, the Docker, and the ports this application is living now or is running now, and of course the network and the restart. And we have some other configuration that are important, but for this, the only when we create this Docker jar, the only command we need to implement now is just Docker compose up. With this command, we can create this image and running the image and create for first time. But of course, it's important you have Docker in your machine. For example, Docker. Let me see you now. Let me show you now. One moment, it's starting. So we have Docker here, and we have our container uh, with this main dev container. This is a server. or Docker image, we make the simulator like Gmail, and we can simulate a email server with this image. So that is perfect for us. And this is all the information of this session we need to handle now. If you have some question, just tell me, and in the comment below you can write some question, no problem. And this task is completely successfully. We are creating our database, and of course, the next step is continue with our implementation service. So next see you in the next video. Thank you for watching Mentally channel, and don't forget to subscribe.